Most NFL fans probably don't know too many of Bad Bunny's songs, even if he was singing in English. Now, the Washington Post is being comprehensively mocked for this hot take on the performance. They claimed that Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show had the kind of wholesome, traditional family values that would fit right in with some of the more sentimental commercials that appeared during the game. Now, really, Washington Post, is this what you see as wholesome and traditional family values type entertainment, Alex? They have a fairly different view of wholesome than most of us.
I mean, I think that's an understatement. I mean, these people are basically so pro-LGBTQ and anti-America that, yeah, they probably did think a bunch of illegal immigrants, freak dancing at the halftime Super Bowl show was wholesome. But if you even look at the words, Titi me pregunto, what it means, it's basically a song about treating women like they're disposable and just having multiple girlfriends and being a total degenerate. So there's nothing wholesome about it. I mean, I guess they were dancing slowly, but other than that, I really didn't get any wholesome family values whatsoever from this performance.
No, and I was going to go through some of those lyrics. Obviously, the lyrics were sung in Spanish, but the translations are really not fit for a family program, so we can't even tell you the lyrics. I have no problem with risque lyrics, but Washington Post describing it as wholesome is just a little bit rich. Now, Bad Bunny surprises more than 50 million followers on Instagram by deleting every single one of his posts hours after his controversial performance. Why do you think that is, Alex? Why would he delete essentially his profile?
Well, I noticed that today. I was just covering it, and then I looked at his account and all the pictures were gone. I don't know if he really cares about negative backlash or if he's just embarrassed by the performance, because when you compare it to other great performances like Prince, like Michael Jackson, it really stunk at the end of the day. And so maybe he just doesn't want the heat from all the people that are, criticizing that. But at the same time, maybe it's a publicity stunt so that you and I are talking about, why did this guy have one of the most talked about halftime performances ever, and then he just kind of ghosts everybody? So I don't know. I don't know what his marketing team is thinking by doing that whatsoever.
Well, there has been a lot of criticism on social media of the performance, but I've got to say the bulk of the mainstream media has been absolutely glowing in their assessment of his performance. Now, Turning Point USA had some incredible numbers watching their alternative halftime show, and those numbers continue to rise. What's remarkable, Alex, is people were streaming this not just on YouTube, but on Rumble. This is really impacting YouTube's perceived monopoly on that market.
Oh, of course. And, what's really funny, though, about Turning Point is some of the criticisms they're facing, after the fact, which I think are really unnecessary and unwarranted, is people don't like that Charlie Kirk, the difference between him and other conservatives, he wanted to make being a conservative cool. He loved the fireworks. He loved, going against the counterculture. He was the counterculture. And in the counterculture, I feel like Turning Point won this, because even though there's 120 million people watching the Super Bowl, the fact that 10 million people also turned into Turning Point USA, I mean, that's a huge victory. And it wasn't necessarily just for Kid Rock. It was because people want to actually watch something that they can, I guess, relate to. And most of the fans can't relate to Bad Bunny.
By the end of the week, well, yeah, exactly. Well, by the end of the week, we'll bring you the totals there, because those Turning Point USA numbers are continuing to go up, so we can make a better comparison at the end of the week. Alex Stein, thank you so much for your time.